Mrs. Pellegrino, and we are going to take a look at some non-Mendelian practice problems. So far, we have learned Mendelian genetics, and we talked about non-Mendelian genetics, and of course, there are practice problems that go with them as well. So, we know that there are several different kinds of non-Mendelian genetics. The first one that we have is called codominance. The second one we have is called incomplete dominance. We have sex-linked traits. And we have multiple alleles. And of course, we do have Mendelian genetics, right? Monohybrid and dihybrid crosses. So let's take a look at some of these practice problems and see which questions belong with which inheritance pattern. And it does say, for each example below, determine the type of inheritance pattern and then complete the appropriate type of Punnett square. So first we need to figure out which one of the 4 or 5 that I just discussed. And you need to make sure that you write that down. So for example, let's look at number 2. In 4 o'clock's flowers, petal color varies. Some flowers are red, some are white, and others are pink. Cross a red flower with a pink flower. So first we need to figure out what type of inheritance pattern this is. Is this codominance? Is this incomplete dominance? Is this sex-linked? So on and so forth. So it told us that red flowers are dominant, or we can infer that. White are recessive. And then if you have RW, that's going to be pink. And since this is a blending of the 2 colors, this would be considered incomplete. And make sure you can either write it like behind the number on your paper, or you can write it off to the side. But you need to write somewhere in the problem that this is incomplete dominance. And then it says to cross a red and pink flower. And then from that, I'm not going to answer all of the questions, but we do know that this is 50% red, 50% pink. All right. Great. Now let's take a look at the next problem. Number 3, it says, in man, normal pigmentation is due to a dominant allele A, and albinism is recessive, lowercase a. A normal man marries an albino woman, and their first child is albino. What are the genotypes of these 3 people? Okay, so what type of inheritance pattern is this? Is it incomplete dominance? Is it codominance? Is it sex linked? You may be thinking none of the above, and you would be correct. Number 3 is actually going to be Mendelian genetics. And you will have some Mendelian genetics problems in here as well. Really, this assignment, I really want you guys to focus on identifying which type of inheritance pattern it is, because there are several that we've talked about so far. So be prepared for some Mendelian genetics in there as well. All right, number 4 is our next problem. In cattle, the capital R genotype calls for a red cow. The WW for a white cow, and RW calls for roan. A red bull and a white cow are mated. What types of offspring would be expected? Give the genotypes and phenotypes and the probability of each. So again, what type of inheritance pattern is this? Incomplete, codominance, sex-linked, Mendelian. If you said codominance, you would be correct. Why is this codominance and not incomplete dominance? Well, as we saw in question number 2, incomplete dominance is a blending of two colors, whereas codominance, the two colors are still appearing. So if you've never seen a roan cow, you should look that up. But basically, you are seeing a white cow with speckles of red or vice versa, and that is a roan cow. I'm not going to completely work out this problem. I will set up the Punnett square for you. It says that a normal man marries an albino woman, so you would be crossing. I'm sorry. That's number 3. Number 4, I was like very confused. It says a red bull and a white cow are mated. So red bull and white cow. So this would be your Punnett square, RW, 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 and RW. And 100% R, Rowan. Great. If I could erase. Okay, and then one more that I'm going to do. I'm going to take a look at number 13. The allele for hemophilia is carried on the X chromosome and is recessive. Cross a woman who is a carrier for hemophilia to a hemophiliac man. So again, we need to figure out what type of inheritance pattern this is. Because it's talking about the X chromosome, we can confidently say that this is sex-linked. Where this would be normal and lowercase would be hemophilia. And our cross would be this. Sorry. And then you would cross that in a Punnett square. All right, so I believe that we've gone through all of the different types of inheritance patterns. If you have any questions, let me know, but you should complete the rest of the assignment on your own. Thank you.